Welcome back, guys. We are approaching the end of Starknet for Everybody, the introductory course to the Starknet ecosystem. In this class, we are going to scroll through some of the most influential Starknet-related Twitter accounts. Obviously, let's start with the Starkware account, which posts a lot of material in terms of announcements and development infrastructure news, while it shares a lot of content from the whole ecosystem. Now let me show you some people from the Starkware team, starting from Eli Ben-Sasson, Starkware co-founder and co-inventor of ZK Stark's technology. Then we have Uri, who's also the co-founder of Starkware. Then we have Luis Gutl, who's a very important figure in the ecosystem. He's currently covering the ecosystem lead position at Starkware, and he really shares a lot of very important and relative information and news about the Starknet ecosystem. We also have Henry, who's the Starknet developer advocate from Starkware, and he created the 101 Starknet tutorial on GitHub that we mentioned in the previous class, and obviously is always traveling around to spread the word of Starknet. He organizes and he attends a lot of Starknet meetups around the world, so he's definitely a person to look for when you want to take into consideration going to a physical Starknet event. And he also hosts a podcast called Starkware Stark, where he interviews some of the most influential people from the ecosystem. Then let's move to the local communities that have been created in the past few months in order to support Starknet locally, in particular regions. Let's start from Starknet Africa, where obviously they're very focused on helping African developers discover the potential and the strength of Starknet and of the Cairo programming language. In fact, they created a lot of tutorials and courses, introductory development courses about Starknet, and they're really onboarding a lot of African talented devs. The same thing applies to India, to Starknet India, where they really active in helping Indian developers onboarding into Starknet. And then, the same thing applies for Starknet en Español, Starknet PT, the Chinese Starknet community, followed by many other local Starknet communities that have been coming up lately. Now let's switch to the builders in the space, starting from Gravity Hall, who's the founder of Only Dust, the project that onboards a lot of developers into the Cairo programming language and into Starknet. Another important developer in the space is Mentor Reka, who also created the Starknet Echo dashboard and is a very active contributor of many open source projects such as Kakarot. Speaking about Kakarot, we can't leave Elias Tazartes out, who's the lead contributor in the Kakarot project. We also have Fran Algaba, who's a really active dev that created a lot of interesting and powerful infrastructure tools for Starknet. Then we have Francesco Chacon, who's the founder of Apibara, the API service. Then we have Sam, who's the co-founder of Node Guardians, but is also very well known in the ecosystem for being the organizer of Starknet CC. And he also has a YouTube channel, a French YouTube channel, Journal du Coin, where he had been covering crypto-related stuff for many years. We move to Federico Carrone, who's the founder of Classa Lambda, one of the leading engineering companies in the space. Another super talented dev and engineer is Gilti Giosa, who's been working on topology and on many innovative and disruptive gaming related concepts. We now have Sylvie, who's the co-founder of the Brick NFT project and is a very important figure in the Starknet ecosystem, as is a promoter of the Keep Starknet Strange movement. And apart from that, is also the organizer, let's say the lead figure of Starknet Builder Council that plays an important role in the Starknet governance. Another founder in the space is Matteo, who founded the Launchpad platform Astrali. Then we have Loaf, who's the lead in the Loot Realms metaverse game. Rohit, the founder of Jedi Swap, who's also very active in organizing Starknet CCs in Asia. Another great founder is Moti Levi from the Bravo Starknet wallet. Speaking about wallets, we also have Julian from Argent, together with Haitamar, also a co-founder of the Argent Starknet wallet. Then we move to the ZK's protocols founder, Edward, followed by RTP, Richard, if I remember well, who's from the Nostra Finance team. Then let's finish this course mentioning a couple of other content creators in the space, starting from Starknet Digger, who writes a lot of interesting threads about the ecosystem, and he also leads a Discord community, followed by a Starknet weekly newsletter. Then we have my friend Gurka, who creates a lot of engaging contents about Starknet, which is often shot during the conferences about the Starknet ecosystem. He is very good at creating documentaries that report and describes the vibe behind Starknet. So you should really consider following him. That's all for this list. Obviously, I apologize in advance for those OGs who weren't covered in this list. Obviously, this is not an official, list, so I couldn't do a very long video. Therefore, it's normal that I left some very important and talented people out. I'm really sorry for that, but I think you would discover a lot of other Starknet people following the profiles I just mentioned to you. Having said that, see you on the last class of this course, and thanks a lot for having attended it up to the very end of it. I really appreciate it, and see you on the next video for the goodbyes.